So, Coach, the only thing that may get you with it, so they've asked Coach and Le'Veon about playing downtown. This man's been phenomenal. Fits in really well, and he's done all that. So there's not really a problem there. I'm just telling you because they're trying to take you down an avenue of how is his attitude, this and that. So,
yeah. But as far as playing time, what have you been saying?
For playing time, we're going to see how the week develops with his knee.
Okay.
And just leave it open-ended. Yeah. Perfect.
Yep. Introduce that.
No doubt. And that's a hot mic, so you're live. Yep. You're going to sit down there. If you need to grab a drink, you got to pour it in that Gatorade cup, but you can use that water there.
All right.
All right?
Yep. Thanks.
All right, Coach. You got it.
All right.
Hi, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Do you mind turning your camera on?
Yeah, I was about to say, is it on pop on? I don't even know how to do that. I have no clue of how to do that.
There should be something that says if you move.
We will turn. No. We have remote access. We'll turn it on.
Oh, okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Brooke.
Hey, Coach McCoullough. I wanted to ask you about Le'Veon. I'm sure the first of many people who will be asking about him today, but I just wanted to know, what were your impressions of him when he was still with the Steelers, and how has he fit into the room since he arrived in Kansas City?
Well, I mean, previous to him getting here, you know, in his time with the Steelers, I mean, everybody knows of him, his capabilities on the field and the things you've seen in highlights and just how productive he had been. You know, obviously after his time in New York and then coming to us, we've been very impressed with his professional disposition, how hard he works. I mean, he just want to work. You know, that's been most impressive to me, is just his disposition and how hard he works and the impression he's made on that room, because the guys in the room didn't know what to expect with somebody with his type of ability, what he's earned over time, and just how that may have shaped him, but it didn't shape him into anything except continuing to work hard and wanting to earn respect. So we've been happy to have him.
And then we're going to go next to Aaron Ladd.
Coach, appreciate the time here. Anytime I look in on Snapchat stories or Instagram stories from the guys, it seems like the running backs have the most fun out of everybody. What is it that is in that room? That's the energy. How could you describe it? That kind of thing.
I mean, it's just the respect that we have for each other, you know, and I think, you know, allowing these guys to maintain their personalities, you know, just the synergy that we have, you know, between us and the relationships we have and what it's built on as far as that trust and respect, it kind of permeates outside the room. I know other guys on the team make the statement and it shows up, you know, in our social media posts. We follow each other, we kind of mess around with each other. But when it's time to get to work, that's what we do.
But when you adding guys in the mix like Le'Veon halfway through, it can kind of mess with the chemistry a little bit. How do you make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's cool?
Well, I mean, you know, it starts with me, you know, just greasing the skids, you know, for a new person to come in, making not only that new person, being Le'Veon in this case, feel comfortable, but then making all the other guys trust what the process is and trust what we're doing in that room. You know, so you just want to have, you know, that synergy in the room where everybody has respect for each other and we all have a common goal. And to me, that trumps everything. But as far as the relationships with Le'Veon, I think he's seen that coming in the room, just how guys get along, and he's blended in very well.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to go next to Pete Sweeney.
Hey, Deland, hope you're well.
All right.
Curious about Darryl and just how he has turned it on here in the postseason. Anything that you've seen in particular that has allowed him to shine late in this run, or is it just, you think, simple opportunity that has led to some success here?
I think it's a simple opportunity. From the moment that Darryl got here a couple years ago, he's operated mentally at a very high level. And then the physical aspect of it, as he continued to just progress and and get used to what our system is, and continue to get in shape and just shape his body and his eating habits and everything. It's been reaping benefits for him here these last couple of years. But as far as this season, he had opportunity prior to Le'Veon coming in. He took a supplemental role as Le'Veon, showed us what he can deliver and contribute to our running back room. And then when Le'Veon got chipped up and Clyde got chipped up, he sees that opportunity.
And we're going to go next to Therese Paylor.
Hey, Deland, how you doing, man?
All right.
Hey, you're watching Tampa Bay. That front can get after a little bit. They were able to get it home with 4, a lot against the Packers. My question is, I know blocking for running backs is always important. Like it's every week that matters, but does that take on added importance against a defensive front like this with linebackers who can they like to cross blitz? Like, will running backs would running back protection play a key role in this game? And I do have a quick follow-up.
With who we have at quarterback, protection is paramount every week. We don't want him, to get touched at all. And definitely we want to control what happens as far as what our assignments are. And we continue to emphasize pass protection, feel very comfortable. I think the film show it, statistics show how proficient we've been at pass protecting, and we want to just continue that and finish this season strong here in the Super Bowl with protecting our quarterback.
How good is Le'Veon still at protection? And is that an area where he can help you guys on Sunday?
Yeah, just as I stated earlier, every guy that we put in the game has to be able to protect. So nobody would play if they couldn't protect. So, I feel very strong about the tools we put in place for the guys and just their attitude as far as executing the things that we have technique-wise, et cetera, to make us proficient pass protectors. And Le'Veon definitely has that capability. He stepped up and showed that a couple of times this season, and we'll just see as the week goes on, how his role develops coming into the game.
Thank you.
We're going to go next to Josh Allen.
Hey, Coach, how we doing?
All right.
The Buccaneers obviously boast the #1 run defense again for the second year. How much of a problem does that front 7, including those linebackers who can run sideline to sideline, present from not getting away from the run game early on, and just Vita Vea's impact as well?
It got some guys. That front is legitimate. The statistics show that. You don't have to be a rocket scientist not, to watch that tape and see that, on film. So it'll pose a challenge for sure. But just like we've done, we've embraced those challenges, not only as an offense, but as a room, to want to step up and show that our running game can get it done and provide the spark and or carry the team when necessary. So Coach Hack, along with the rest of the staff, we put together a good plan, and we feel confident coming into the game that we'll be able to execute it on the level we need to win the game.
Thank you.
And we're going to go next to John.
Hey, Coach. I'm with Sports Spectrum. We recently did a magazine story on you and your biological father, Coach Sherman Smith. So I know you're a man of faith. I just want to ask, how have you relied on your faith in God this season, this past year, whether that's team Bible studies, church, whatever it may be? What does that look like for you?
Well, just continuing to stay, keep my spiritual base intact, having my dad who's really strongly spiritually influenced, in my life has been great during these times, as you continue to keep my family intact and just, being somebody that my children and my wife can rely on, and then being somebody that not only the team, but my running backs can lean on. So it's been very important to me to keep that, that spiritual base, not only in my personal life, but in my work life.
Thank you.
And we're going to go next to Joe.
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned Le'Veon earlier before. Coming from situations where he's the main back to being, a roll back, how was he able to adjust to that, and how was that difficult for him?
Well, I can't speak to, his mental internally. However, I can speak to just his disposition around the facility, in the running back room. It's been exemplary. I mean, he's been on it, and somebody who gives great advice to Clyde and Durrell, speaking up in the room, being a positive guy, bringing energy, big smile on his face, just somebody we love having around. So I would imagine internally there's been, there's a transition mentally that's happened, but as far as outwardly, he's embraced it. And if he got to go in as the second guy, the third guy, whatever it is, in practice and in games, he went out there and did what he needed to do to contribute to the team.
And we're going to go next to Paul Gable.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
All right.
Hey, working on the story about your time at Indiana and as the running back coach here, and first of all, what stood out to you about your time in Bloomington, and then how did that time help you in this position that you're in now?
My time in Bloomington was unbelievable. It was my first full-time job, college coaching job, so the opportunity that Indiana University gave me to come in and let me grow and let my personality be what it is and have the impact on those guys, not only as football players, but as men, is something that I'll never forget and always cherish. The relationships I had there and the foundation that laid for me as a coach is something that I'm, will always be indebted to Indiana for, without a doubt.
And we're going to go next to Marcio Gutierrez.
Hello, Coach. How are you?
All right.
What has Clyde Edwards-Helaire brought different to this offense this season? And do you think he has felt a greater responsibility to produce after being chosen with the team's first draft pick?
What Clyde brings, is a versatility, a change of direction and explosiveness that definitely, has been an added piece to what we do. Very smart, obviously coming out of a top program, has championship pedigree. He's been a great guy to have around. And I think what he's done on the field speaks for itself. As he's coming off this injury is something that we've been really excited about because, he's looking good. He's running fast, cutting, doing the things he did prior to the injury. So, again, as he continues to develop in this system and in this league, there's big things coming for him, even bigger things coming for him.
Thank you, Coach.
We're going to go next to Luke Johnson.
Good morning, Deland. You look back at Daryl's career and he only had like 150 carries of senior year at LSU, and it's not really like a traditional route to being an NFL player, I guess, even though he played at the big schools. So I'm just curious if you see that, he's kind of had to take a back seat in his last couple of drafts, that if you see that in his mindset as a player, and if you see that kind of come out in his pace.
It's come out from moment one. I'm getting some feedback here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Bad feedback over here. But it's come off from moment one when he chose to come here as a free agent, and he's always been somebody who had to fight through adversity. Just some of the guys who he had to compete with at LSU. Then he walks in here and he got Kareem Hunt, then Damian, Spencer and Damian Williams, then, LaShawn comes in, then we draft Clyde, and different things like that. But he continued just with his, forward progressing, understanding what it takes to persevere and battle through adversity. But just like he did at LSU and like he's done since he's been here, when his opportunity presented itself, he's taken advantage of it. And one of his greatest abilities is his dependability. Everybody on this offense, all of our coaches trust him. And they know what we're going to get from him, and we like it. We like it a lot. So, he'll continue to have those opportunities as we go into this Super Bowl game, and then we'll continue to build from there.
And we're gonna go next to Paul.
Yeah, hi, Deland. I wanted to ask you about LaShawn McCoy. I was talking to Todd McNair yesterday, who was talking about the impact LaShawn has had on the running back room this year and with the Bucks, as far as helping some of these younger guys, helping Leonard Fournette embrace his role this year. I was curious last year when you had him, he played a lot early and then, kind of didn't play much after that. How did he handle that with you last year?
Very professionally. Again, the relationships I know we spoke of maybe 10 minutes ago or so aren't a 1 year thing. It's every year with me, as far as just getting our relationship with guys in the room and trying to put those guys in the best situation to be successful. And sometimes it isn't what they want, or what they envision, but just having to buy in and being professional is something that we definitely want those guys to continue to have. So, it's something, with Shady, had some messaging with him a couple of weeks ago, man. I love that guy, great guy to be around. Definitely had an influence when he was here, man. I'm happy he's back in the championship game, but we got to go down there and take care of business.
Thanks.
We're gonna go next to Gustino.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Sorry about that. I was muted. I work for a TV station in Ohio, and obviously you're an Ohio guy, and you have a tremendous story. And some people are familiar about that, but not everybody is. If you could, maybe reflect a little bit about your journey, going to back-to-back Super Bowls, being in an Ohio star running back, second all-time leading rusher at Miami, and your personal journey, finding your birth parents after a long time, and all of that. If you could reflect on that and how that's led you to this point.
Well, I guess to sum it up, it's a long story, but I mean, to sum it up, it's just, been a story of perseverance, and those foundations were laid, back in Youngstown, just somebody who always had to fight to get, what I thought that I deserved, but I had to earn it. So, those building blocks were put there. And as I went, just kind of went through life and through high school, just continuing to fight and be behind guys and kind of rise up. And then, ultimately getting the opportunity to go to college. I only started 1 year in high school and then going to Miami and, being fifth, sixth string, obviously being recruited by my dad, which I didn't know who he was, my dad at that time, and putting myself in the position to become a 4-year starter. And when I graduated, I was the number one guy. So I can't control what happened after I left. But when I graduated, I was the all-time guy. Then going to the Bengals and having to kind of come from behind again there too. And just that's kind of just been what the story's been. I never may have been the number one guy walking into the situation, but I left it, with a lot of respect from the people that I had an impact on and/or that I played with. So that, brings me, here to the NFL. And it was a situation even here. I said, I want to come in and learn, come into the NFL, learn, and then earn respect. Those are my biggest things, learn and earn respect, on this level. And, it's happy to say, I feel that I've done that. Even as I look across the field right now, I look at guys I had an impact on. Like last year, the starting running back was Tevin Coleman. I coached him at Indiana. So it was a great reunion to have with him. And then this year, Ronald Jones. I coached him his last year at USC. So it's so many relationships and things that I've had on this journey that make me look back on it and be extremely proud, what has been accomplished up to this point, but it's not over yet.
And if I could follow up real quick, a lot of people look at your story inspirationally, and maybe kids who have been adopted as well. What would your message be to someone who was in your shoes, who was adopted and didn't know who their birth parents were, to seek them out, to take that leap and to figure that out? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a personal thing. Everybody, I would just say if it's something that you want to find out, go find out. one thing I never use is adoption as a reason for me not to be able to do something or not to be successful or to use it as a crutch by any means. I just lived my life and was grateful that I had an adoptive family who did a phenomenal job with me, forming a foundation across the board. But was definitely super happy that God opened up a door for me to actually find my biological family and kind of close the circle. So I would just say to anybody who's interested in closing the circle to do it, you know, and go into it with your eyes wide open, because you don't know what's on the other side of that door. You know, I was able to walk through there and find an unbelievable situation where I was embraced, and I embraced what was on the other side of the door. But you don't know what that may not be the situation for everybody, but you just got to have an open mind as you go into it.
Thank you.
And we're gonna go next to Alex.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, I just want to congratulate you on making it to the Super Bowl. And just a quick question I want to touch on. Not only will this be the first Super Bowl hosted by a home team, but the first Super Bowl in which a woman will get to officiate in the game. Can you touch on that and just the volumes it speaks for the NFL and the movements they're trying to make?
Well, I mean, I think what you just said speaks for itself. You know, I mean, you know, having, you know, Tampa be, you know, play in their home stadium, first time that's happened. I mean, that's a testament to those guys. They got it done. They got hot, got some things going, and put themselves in the Super Bowl game. As far as, you know, having, you know, the first female referee, I mean, that continues to show just the progressive nature of the NFL as it relates to that. And it's something I think, you know, that should be embraced, you know, by females, et cetera, who are looking to make that move, that there are opportunities for you to be not only get in those positions, but then get the recognition and the honor of being able to officiate in the biggest game in football.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck tonight or Sunday.
And we're gonna go next to Allie Truce.
Hey, Coach, congratulations, and hope your week is going well. I talked with former LSU running backs coach Tommy Robinson a little bit ago, and he told me about all the conversations that the two of you had about Clyde going into draft and all of those things. And we also talked a lot about his relationship with Darrell Williams at LSU, and Clyde used to follow him around like a puppy dog. And I'm curious, now that you've gotten to work with them within the Chiefs organization together, how have you noticed their relationship benefit the other this season through ups and downs, adversity, you know, giving advice and all of those things that go into a running back's room? What have you noticed between the two of them?
And them guys are borderline inseparable. You know, great relationship. I mean, I know Clyde, from my impression of it, you know, Clyde looks up to Darrell as a big brother. You know, Darrell, obviously with his knowledge of the offense, you know, has been very instrumental in helping Clyde, you know, behind the scenes and different things like that. You know, it also helped with bridging the gap with me and Clyde. Now, there was no gap with me and Clyde, but Clyde walking in the door, he don't know me. He just know me through the draft process. And for Darrell to give, you know, me the blessing to Clyde, like, hey, he's good. You know, it's going to be all good. That helped, you know, that helped me too, you know, so it's been a great relationship that those guys have, and you can kind of see it on the sidelines and off the field. We're going to see it on the field this weekend. Looking forward to that.
And we're gonna go last to Jaron May.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
All right.
So I want to take you back, and I know a couple questions ago you answered part of this, but Miami of Ohio, what is that university? And I'll leave it pretty broad. What does that university mean to you?
I mean, that's home for me. You know, that's home for me. I mean, just all the relationships. I mean, my dad went there. You know, he's in the Hall of Fame. I went there, you know, in the Hall of Fame. My brother went there. My son goes there right now. You know, and just the relationships from Coach Walker and all of the people there that took a shot on me, you know, and helped me become somebody that not only they can be proud of, but that my family can be proud of, you know, the cradle of coaches, you know, but more importantly, I mean, they really do a great job of just creating great young people and leaders in society in general. So, nothing but love, for Miami. I mean, shoot, they got my son there, so, and the experience I had there is just unbelievable, and they're unforgettable as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, you're all good.
I'm good.
Yep.
All right. I can leave?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
That.